I'm going to call the meeting to order. I'm Dennis Browning, Chair of the Board of Appeals of Zoning. And we'll ask the Secretary to take roll for us, please.
Board Member Browning?
Here.
Board Member Copeland? Board Member Forbes? Here. Board Member Gale?
Here.
And Board Member Nash?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Let me read this introduction for those that are here. The function of the board. No. Do we do approval of the minutes first? I need the approval of the minutes from our last meeting, which would have been
February 1st.
February 1st. Do I do that?
Move to support.
Moved and
I
supported?
move in support. Yeah.
Moved, yes. Is there any corrections or additions to the minutes from that meeting? Being none, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. I also need a motion for the approval of our agenda for tonight.
So moved.
It's been moved.
Support.
Jamie has supported it. Any other discussion? Being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the agenda's been approved. Now I can read our instructions here. The function of the board is to provide zoning flexibility. The action of the board can be an interpretation which involves an interpretation of the zoning code text or a zoning district boundary. We may also issue a variance, which is an appeal to vary from the strict application of the zoning code. The meeting is videotaped. It is important that only one person speak at a time and the audience observe respect for the speaker. When the appeal in which we are interested is called, please come forward to the podium and allow the board a moment to review the material, after which you may give your name and address to the secretary. After the appellate's presentation, anyone interested in the appeal may come forward, give his or her name and address the secretary. Address to the secretary. Please make your comments brief and to the point. Speakers shall not ask questions of specific board members. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes and may only speak once. The board will discuss the appeal, vote, and continue to the next appeal. An affirmative vote of 2/3 of the board, 3 votes, shall be necessary to decide in favor of the appeal. The action of the board is final. The only relief is through the courts. If there's no other questions, then we'll call our first and only appeal tonight.
So this is case number J75. Property owner of 251 Lockwood is requesting a special exemption to section 153.125, the zoning ordinance that prohibits parking spaces to be located in a space bounded by the front building line. The applicant claims that the strict adherence to the zoning ordinance is causing a hardship due to the unique circumstances of the property. The board may permit the modification of off-street automobile parking or loading spaces requirements specified in the ordinance, where in a particular instance, such modifications will not be inconsistent with the purpose and intent of such requirements. Cities received several complaints resulting in violation tickets being issued regarding parking in the front yard area and across the sidewalk and out in the street.
Okay. And do we have someone here to speak? Reference that. Would you come up to the podium? Give your name and address to the secretary, or just say it out loud?
Brian Davis, 251 Lockwood Street.
I'm sorry, would you?
Brian Davis.
Brian Davis?
Yes, correct.
Okay,
251 Lockwood Street.
yep. All right, what brings you here?
I am the individual in regards to the application for the variance here before you guys today. In regards to what he previously stated, the issue at hand is, to me, a minor kind of fix. I'm applying for about an 8-foot extension to the side of my driveway, gravel, to help accommodate all the issues that's been brought before you guys, to kind of see if I can extend my driveway width-wise to what's considered a non-parking area under the zoning.
Okay?
But
And that-
I have
that's your
a
request.
brief little bit if you want me to read from it.
Please.
Okay. Like I said, I'm here, Brian Davis, with my wife Jessica Davis. We're the residents and homeowners of 251 Lockwood Street in the Adams Boulevard area. We're here before the Board of Appeals in hopes to be granted our application for variance in regards to our allowed parking zone of our property. Reasons being, as you stated before, when adhering to the strict application of the zoning code is causing unnecessary hardship and/or practical difficulty for the property owner due to the unique circumstances of the property. My family and I have lived at this home for the past 10 years. I, like many other of my neighbors, have a very short driveway. My home was built in 1937, a time when having one vehicle, or having more than one vehicle is not common. Excuse me. It's now 2023, and I have to adhere to a zoning code where having more than one vehicle in my driveway is a violation. I drive a pickup truck that nearly takes up the entire length of my driveway. I have 3 children, 2 of which are of driving age and have vehicles of their own. One of my daughters has stopped staying over due to the citations that she's received. My garage is too narrow for any vehicles to pass through. I understand it's not the city's problem. We have 3 vehicles to accommodate, but I also believe that my family shouldn't be punished or harassed for violating an outdated city parking code due to the fact that we have a short driveway. I have a neighbor who reports on my parking violations to the city offices with pictures, rants on social media, and threats of lawsuits due to the city of Saginaw daily. My drivers at my house have all received and paid plenty parking citations, and in no way am I arguing the legitimacy of said violations, but the harassing nature it brings to my family with tickets, social media posts, and harassing calls to the city for more violation penalties. I have no other option of property alteration without the approval of this variance. My family will continue to be harassed, and the only other option is to move. In my opinion, the minor violation, I understand all the costs and permits that are associated with this process. All I'm asking is that 8 feet of gravel path to my existing driveway on what is considered to the city as parking prohibited. The allowed area is nowhere near the amount of space needed to accommodate the problem. It would just create a new problem with my other neighbors' parking, and I have a plan. I feel all parties would be satisfied, and I would love to put this problem to bed once and for all.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. And is there anyone else here to speak?
Yes.
Please come forward.
Alan Tobias, 239 Lockwood, and just I need to rebut that for a second. I'm not the only person. I've had 6 neighbors back in the day, and there's still 3 neighbors coming to me as the block captain, complaining about the issue. This individual harasses me anytime he sees me in the yard. Give me the finger, you go like this, Jeffrey. Okay. Okay, so the issue we have is,
You today
sorry.
is
Yes,
this
okay.
variance.
So what I wrote
State
is,
to the variance.
okay, so what I would like you to say is just the things that are important is we have a very walkable neighborhood. So what they're not realizing is blocking the sidewalk and parking the cars to the sidewalk. There was a man in an Amigo that used to ride around the block every day. He can't do that anymore. There was a person who would push her baby stroller around the block, and her family moved out because her dad would try to walk around the cars that are parked there and would fall on the sidewalk. So Barry took his family back to New York. During the pandemic, many people would try to walk the sidewalk with 2 cars parked on the sidewalk. There was no way for them to use a sidewalk. The children walking to school have to walk around the cars. It's a 2-car driveway with a garage, but there's a basketball hoop and there's trash cans taking up one of the spaces on the driveway. We have a few neighbors who try to snow blow the whole from end to end. They have to stop at the Davis's home because they can't get past it. People stop at my house and say, what's up with those neighbors always blocking and parking on the front lawn? And I hear that. I have visitors who come to my house and say, is this neighborhood safe? What's that going on down there? So what it comes down to is two things. Can there be enough spaces for two spaces to get the car off the sidewalk and off the front lawn? Will it be convenient enough for them to do this? And will parking enforcement be willing to step up and ticket them when violations of the ordinance still occur? Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else willing to speak or wishing to speak on this variance? Anyone else? Yes, ma'am, you're welcome to come up and.
Can I just say right here?
No. You gotta come all the way up.
Name and address.
Name and address, please.
Jessica Davis, 251 Lockwood. I just want to say this has caused a lot of hardship for my family over the years. We've gotten a lot of tickets. My daughters are crying. They're constantly getting ticketed. Like he said, my oldest daughter won't even come over anymore. I mean, she doesn't want to get ticketed. She comes over, but then she leaves at night. So it is hard. We've tried everything. We've moved the basketball court. We've tried to pull in the garage. We've paid, you can look it up. We've paid a lot of tickets on all vehicles present. So we're just trying to figure it out. I don't want to have to pack up my family and move over something like this. You know, we'll put gravel down, whatever. We're just here trying to figure it out.
Thank you. Is there anyone else to speak? Anyone else? Third and final time, anyone else? Being none, I think I have to have a motion then to
Close the public hearing.
close the public hearing.
I'll make that motion.
Do we close before we have questions?
Yes, we'll close the public hearing.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Is there any further discussion on closing the motion? Being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion, the public hearing is closed. Okay, at this point then, we
Have a motion to approve.
need a motion to approve.
We'll make a motion to approve.
In order for us to discuss, we need a motion to approve. Support. And it's been supported. Is there any further discussion on that motion? Being none?
I have a question.
You have a question on the motion? Go ahead.
Well, I guess I have a question. So I'm curious if one more spot is going to be enough.
Should- We
So-
don't, we need to,
No, you can have discussion, but you can talk to staff, or you have to
Okay.
go out of regular order of business to talk
Okay.
to the applicant.
So I guess I would ask staff if you have had this conversation, if you're thinking that this will be a sufficient solution.
Well, I'm not really sure. My understanding is they have 3 cars, and so they're also talking to engineering department to put in a cutout between the curb and the sidewalk for the 3rd vehicle.
Okay, and that would be another, would that come before us again, or is that something
No,
that can happen
that's something
separately?
that the engineering department can issue.
Okay,
I don't know how else to answer that.
okay, that answers it for me.
okay, we have a motion on the floor and it's been seconded. So we need to vote on the motion. All in favor?
Unless there's further discussion. This is the only opportunity to discuss. Yeah.
Any other discussion on the motion? Go ahead.
You gotta ask the staff, or you can't ask them.
I have to ask the staff.
Or you can make a motion to go out of regular
Okay.
business.
Could I make a motion to go out of the regular business and ask questions?
I'll second that motion.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion on the motion itself? Being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, now we're out of that, so do you have a question that you need to?
Concerning Mr. Davis's expansion, would that,
You really should only ask questions of the applicant.
Yep.
only the applicant?
Mr. Davis, would you step up there to the podium for us?
Why do you say this is gonna solve the problem of 5 cars?
It's not, it's 3 cars. I have 2 cars personally, mine and my wife's. I have 2 daughters of driving age, one of which my wife stated doesn't stay full-time at our house and doesn't even stay the night anymore because of the violations that she ensues. So the other parking that he was speaking of is I've already talked to the engineering department, been approved for the curb cutout. So I would have one parking space pertaining adjacent, which is an application for the variance that's in front of my house, which extends my current driveway pathway 8 feet widthwise, and also with the curb cutout would take care of my daughter's vehicle.
Anything further?
No.
Okay. Does any other member have a question for him? No? Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Then we need to go back.
Motion to go back. Into
Motion to
regular
go
order.
back into the,
Okay, motion to go back.
Second.
Okay.
okay, anything, do we just, any other discussion?
No.
Being none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, opposed? Nothing. So we're back and we can voice our opinions.
I have a,
And back to discussion.
okay, I have a question for staff. If we, with this would be setting a precedent, correctly? For other areas in the city, correct?
I would say that you have to look at it on a case-by-case
Individual.
basis, because each lot is different.
Yeah, it's a hardship evaluation on a case-by-case basis with those criteria that are listed under the variance sections in the ordinance that should be in your packet.
Any other discussion? Any others? I tend to, on this particular variance, I have to relate with you, having grown children, with a single one-car garage that my wife would like to get a different car, but that car will not fit in the garage. And I have room for one car. That's between the garage and the road, because we do not have a sidewalk there. So the maximum I could get, and then I had to put an addition on mine as well. I certainly understand where you're coming from. Unfortunately, the houses in our neighborhoods were built at the time when we didn't have a lot of vehicles, one vehicle in a family, and now there's multiple. We stacked them up. Yep, I got violations. We stacked up the cars the best we can, until we were able to widen our own. Mine's a little different than this situation, but I certainly understand. And we certainly would like to have families in our neighborhoods. We'd certainly like to have families with children, but, you know, that's my opinion, so. So I am going to be voting in the affirmative, so I just, we can mention that, right? Are we at that point? Yep, okay. So, and we'll need, and we can call for the vote when you guys are ready.
So just another reminder that when you give your vote, then you have to provide a reason
Yes.
for your vote.
Yep. Yep, you have to provide reason for your vote. So, board, are you ready to vote? Ready to vote? Okay, we'll do roll call then?
Sure.
Okay,
Board Member Browning,
yes. And for the hardship of young families coming through, I think this was a reasonable variance to alleviate a problem and yet keep people in our neighborhoods there. So mine's because of the hardship of it being a single driveway, yes.
Board Member Forbes.
I vote in the affirmative as well. I hope that, I agree that this is a hardship simply by the nature of our beautiful historic neighborhoods. And I hope that this will bring, this combined with perhaps the cutout will bring a certain amount of peace to your street.
Board Member Gale.
Did I hear something?
I vote in the affirmative because I've seen an ongoing problem that without it would not alleviate the situation.
Board
I
Member
hope
Nash.
it does.
In the affirmative, due to the basic hardship of the size of the lot and the size of the vehicle, number of vehicles. The 1936 house with cars that are very, very big is big toys in a small lot.
That is a motion approved.
Okay. Is there any other business then to come before this zoning board? Any other business? Being none, then I need a.
You have a,
We have public comment. and
Public
then we'll-
comment.
Public comment.
Yeah.
We have public comment. Okay, I missed that. Okay, so I guess we have public comment. Any public comment? Being none? Anything else? Thank you. Any old business?
No.
Maybe I should look at this. Being none? Now I would like to have
Motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion adjourned and seconded. Is there any discussion on adjourning? There is none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.